Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Vina Aulia Rahma. I want to describe the Ballerina movie. The movie Ballerina invites viewers to reflect on the importance of justice, friendship, and the social impact of violence. With a strong storyline, it touches on many relevant issues such as violence against women and the failure of the legal system to protect victims. The story shows how deep the bond of friendship can be and how someone may feel forced to take extreme action when they see no way out. Through the character of Okju, who faces both inner and physical struggle, the film encourages viewers to rethink how we see justice, sacrifice, and what true friendship means when facing life's challenges. Ballerina tells the story of Okju as a killed Roman bodyguard whose life changed after losing her closest friend, Minhe. Minhe was a cheerful woman, but she carried deep emotional pain because of abuse and manipulation by a man named Choi Pro. When Minhe decided to end her life, she left a final message for Okju, asking her to take revenge. This message becomes the main reason for Okju to begin a dangerous journey to seek justice. The movie highlights the strong bond of friendship between the two women. Okju takes on the role of a protector who is willing to risk everything to keep her last promise to her friends. Using her background as a former bodyguard, Okju relies on her combat skill to fight enemies who are stronger and better equipped. Her journey is filled with intense action scenes presented with stunning visuals as well as emotional moments that show her human side. However, this is more than just a revenge story. The movie also explores themes of grief, guilt, and longing for someone who is gone. With every step, Okju faces inner struggle between anger, sadness, and a deep sense of responsibility. With its intention, story of and action, this movie takes viewers on an emotional journey that makes them think about justice, services, and the However, this is more than just a revenge story. The movie also explores themes of grief, guilt, and longing for someone who is gone. At every step, Okju faces inner struggle between anger, sadness, and the deep sense of responsibility. With its intense story and action, this movie takes viewers on an emotional journey that makes them think about justice, sacrifice, and the true meaning of love in friendship. Now I want to describe of two literary elements of this movie. Okay, for the first one is theme of revenge. Revenge is the central theme that drives the story, creating a strong emotional and physical conflict. Okju decides to take justice into her own hands, not just to avenge her best friend Minhe's death, but also to challenge the system that lets criminals like Choi Pro go unpunished. The film presents revenge in a complex way, not just a series of violent acts but as a psychological response to grief and love. Revenge becomes a way for Okju to express her deep sadness and affection for Minhe. Even though it risks destroying her emotionally, the film also explores the moral dilemma that often comes with revenge. Okju faces a fundamental question: will her action bring her peace, or will they simply continue the cycle of violence? Through her journey, the audience is invited to reflect on the consequence of revenge for everyone involved: victims, perpetrator, and the society as a whole. This theme adds depth to the story, making it not just an action movie but also an emotional and thought-provoking experience. And the last is character. Okju's character evolves from being a cold, killed fighter with no visible emotion to someone who reveals her human and vulnerable side. At first, she is entirely focused on her missions of revenge, showing a little concern from her own pain or danger. However, as the story unfolds and her deep connection with Minhe is revealed, the audience sees a softer side of Okju that she rarely shows. This transformation makes her character complex and realistic, linking her violent action to her deep emotional motivation. Additionally, Okju's character balances strength and tenderness. On one hand, she is a fierce fighter with incredible combat skill. On the other hand, she is a wounded individual who feels guilty for not being able to protect Minhe. This duality makes Okju more than just a stereotypical revenge-seeking killer. The audience is encouraged to empathize with her struggle, making her the emotional core of this layered story. Now I want to explain the cultural element in this movie. This movie shows a concept of jong, a deep sense of affection in relationship that is typical in Korean culture. Jong highlights the importance of strong emotional bonds between people where someone is willing to sacrifice for their friends or loved ones. The friendship between Okju and Minhe reflects this as they support each other even in the toughest situation. Their bond is not only filled with happiness but also with selflessness and loyalty. Even after Minhe's death, friendships like this are highly valued in Korean culture because they show deep love that can last beyond physical and life boundaries. It reminds us the importance of having close relationship built not just on social connection but on trust and empathy. The movie setting is filled with city lights, neon signs, and dark tones reflecting the dynamic of modern city life in Korea. Big cities like Seoul are often shown with a contrast between the bright nightlife and the daily struggle people face. In this film, the city isn't just a backdrop, but a symbol of a harsh world full of challenges the main character must face. The neon lights represent technological progress and modernity, while the darker side of the city show the reality of life, full of conflict, injustice, and danger. This contrast invites the audience to see the urban life not only from its visual beauty, but also as representation of the complex world that hides in dark side behind its glamours. This movie talks about gender-based violence, which is still a big problem in many countries, including South Korea. Minhe is a victim of abuse and manipulation, which make her feel weak and hopeless. The film shows how dangerous it is when power and control are used wrongly against women. It highlights how violence affects women emotionally and physically, often leaving them feeling alone and unsupported. Through Minhe's story, the film raises awareness about the struggle that many women face in abusive situations. The movie also points out the lack of help for victims. Many times the system that should protect women, like the police or social service, fail to give them the support they need. This makes victims feel like they have to face everything alone. The film not only shows how harmful gender-based violence is, but also criticizes the lack of support from society and institutions, urging people to think about how the system can be better. A big part of the film is about how the justice system failed to protect victims. Auju has to take action herself because the law and society are not strong enough to stop people like Choi Pro. This shows a real problem where many victims have to fight on their own, often taking big risks. The movie shows how slow and unfair the legal system can be, leaving victims feeling that they can get justice the right way. Auju's actions highlight the frustration that many people feel when the system doesn't help them. The film also asks if real justice can be only happen through extreme actions when the law doesn't work. Okju's story makes us think about whether the law is always enough to fix things or if sometimes people have to take matters into their own hands. It encourages viewers to think about what justice really means and if the system is fair and able to protect everyone, especially the most vulnerable. The film delves deeply into a psychological toll that gender-based violence in- inflicts on its victims, portraying Minhe's gradual descent into despair as she navigated an environment that felt hostile and indifferent. Her integral struggle is depicted with raw intensity, showing how abuse erodes self-worth and creates a vicious cycle of fear and dependence. The cinematography captured her installations, often framing her in confined, surrounded spaces to reflect her emotional attribute. This artistic choice emphasizes the profound, lasting scars left by abuse, not just on the body but on the soul. The movie also highlights how society often fails to support women who experience violence. When Minhee seeks help, she faces judgment and blame instead of understanding. This shows how harmful cultural attitudes, like prioritizing family reputation over justice, silence victims and make them feel abandoned. The film encourages viewers to think about how we can change this harmful belief and support survivors better. Another important theme is the role of bystanders, those who see abuse happening but don't act. Some characters in the film stay silent out of, of fear, while others feel they can make a difference. By showing these choices, the movie asks us to reflect on how we can take responsibility and stand up against violence, instead of looking the other way. Despite the dark themes, the film also highlights hope and resilience. Minhee begins to heal when she meets other survivors who understand her pain and support her. Together, they create a safe space where they can share their experiences and rebuild their strength. This shows how important it is for women to come together and support each other during difficult times. At the end, the movie is a call for change. It asks people to face the reality of gender-based violence and think about how to fix the system that failed victims. By telling Minhe's story, the film raises awareness, encourages conversations, and pushes for action. It's a powerful reminder that change is possible when we work together to create a safer and more supportive. The film paints a clear picture of how the justice system often fails people like Abju, leaving them to face dangerous situations without proper help. Instead of finding protect and support, Okju realizes she has to take matter into her own hands. This shows how frustration and hopeless it can be for victims when the system that's supposed to protect them doesn't work. The story brings attention to the fact that many victims feel forced to act alone, even when it means putting themselves at great risk. The legal system in the movie it shows as slow and full of flaws, making it hard for victims to find justice. Okju's struggle represents how many people feel trapped in a process that doesn't care about their safety or needs. The system seems more focused on role and procedure one that on helping people. This makes viewers think about how this problem happen in real life and why it's important to make the justice system stronger and fairer for everyone. Another important part of the movie is how society often fails victims too. People around Oju either ignore her struggle or blame her for what happens. This lack of understanding and support makes her journey even harder. The film reminds us that change isn't just about fixing the law, it's also about changing how society treats victims and standing up for what's right. Okju's story is both inspiring and heartbreaking. While her actions show bravery and strength, they also highlight how wrong it is that she has to fight alone. The movie asks viewers to think about why victims are often left to fend for themselves and what can be done to fix this. It's a powerful message about the need for a system and a society that truly protect and support those in need. In conclusion, Ballerina is a powerful emotion journey filled with action, focusing on themes of revenge, the friendship, and criticism of the justice system. The main character of Ju goes through a significant emotional change, showing that the film is not just about physical violence, but also the emotional effect of trauma and loss. The film also highlights the strong bond of friendship inspired by the Korean value of jong, which show how friends can be as close as family even beyond that. Additionally, the film addressed important social issues such as violence against women and the failure of the justice system to protect victims. Through the story of Min-hee, who becomes a victim of abuse and manipulation, the film reminds viewers of the dangers of power abuse and the need for social support. In the end, Ballerina encouraged the audience to reflect on whether true justice can only achieve through extreme action when the system fails to protect those in need. The movie not only delivers thrilling action but also prompts thought on important social issues. Ballerina takes viewers on an emotional and action-packed journey blending intense fight scenes with a deep message about justice and friendship. Auju's story is more than just a revenge tale, it's a story about love and loyalty. Her actions are driven by her incredible bond with Minhee, showing how true friends can inspire courage even in the darkest times. The Korean concept of jong, which means deep emotional connection, is the heart of their relationship, reminding us how strong friendship can feel like family. The film also shines a light on the pain caused by violence, especially violence against women. Min-hee's story shows how abuse can leave deep emotional scars, not just for the victims, but also those who care about them. By showing Min-hee's struggle and Okju fight for her friend, the movie gives a voice to those who are often ignored or silenced. It's a reminder or how It reminds of how important it is to support victims and stand against injustice. Okay, thank you very much for attention. Um, Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.